Hi, and welcome to a video on group data and histograms. So when we look at group data, this is when we've got too much information and we need to group the data into intervals. They have to be of equal width, and we find the class center, which is the middle of the interval that we set. We're going to have a look at a frequency histogram for group data. So each rectangle that you form for your histogram is centered on the class center, and the rectangles join up and there's no gaps. The polygon, they connect the center of the top of each rectangle, they join the plotted points, and they start and end on the horizontal axis. So we'll have a look at an example of this. So here's an example of an group data. So we've got our intervals from 1 to 5, 6 to 10, 11 to 15, 16 to 20, and 21 to 25. And the class center, so the middle of those, is 3, 8, 13, 18, and 23. And then we've got the frequency, how many numbers are in that interval. So there's 8 numbers in the interval 1 to 5. They could be all 8 could be the number 1, all 8 could be the number 5, mixture of everything, just as an example. So constructing the histogram and the polygon. So as was mentioned before, so those columns go around the class center. So see our class centers are on the bottom. There were 8 in the 3 or 1 to 5, but 3 is the class center. There was 10 in the 6 to 10, and etc. And you can see when we said that the polygon starts and finishes on the horizontal axis. So it starts about half a unit to the left of the first histogram. So that's why you start your histogram a little bit further out. But that's how you draw a frequency histogram and polygon. That should be a reminder. So cumulative frequency, so cumulative means to add up. So you add up the frequencies. The histogram is drawn exactly the same, but the polygon is different. It's known as an ogive, and it's used a lot for our medians and our quartiles when we get to that in later units. So it starts at the bottom left-hand corner of the first rectangle because no scores have been accumulated, and it connects to the top right of each rectangle because that's the accumulation of the numbers over that score or over that interval. And it finishes at the top right-hand corner of the final rectangle. And as I said, we'll use it to calculate medians and quartiles later. So for the data we had before, so the first frequency is 8, so that's the first cumulative frequency. Second frequency is 10, so if you're accumulating, adding them up, so add 10 onto that 8, get you 18. Add 15 on 18, get you 33. 12 onto 33, get you 45. And 5 onto 45, gets you 50. So there is our cumulative frequency histogram and polygon. So you can see the histograms increase because they're accumulating, and the polygon or the ogive, it starts from the bottom corner of the first rectangle or the first histogram up to the top right of each one. So it accumulates as it goes up. So the mean and standard deviation, to find them on your calculator. So with group data, you've got to first turn your frequency on. So you press the shift button, mode, the down arrow, number 3 and 1, that should turn your frequency on. And then you create your table. So you press mode 2 and 1, and what you should end up with is a X column for the scores, and you should end up with an F column for your frequencies. You then enter the data. So you enter that first score, first class center of 3, press equals because that enters it, then press 8, press equals, down for each of the 5 numbers that we need to enter. To get across to the frequency, just use your across arrow and then your up button, and that's how you enter your frequencies. Now, the next step is to press AC. It does clear the screen, but it doesn't clear the data. And then to find your mean, you press shift and then 1 for stat, 4 for VAR, and then 2 for the mean. That's the X with the bar stands for mean, and then you press your equal sign to say, yes, that's what I'm doing. And that should give you your mean. Population standard deviation. So population, remember, is everyone. That's from our last video. You press Shift 1, 4, and 3, and then press the equals. And then to find the sample standard deviation, you press Shift 1, 4, and 4, then your equals button. Now, if your stat's not that button, then or the VAR is not at 4, whatever your VAR button is on your calculator. So if you've done that correctly, your mean should be 12.6, your population standard deviation 6.07, your sample 6.13, and the variance, well, it's not on your calculator, but it's the standard deviation squared. And since the square of both of those numbers is approximately 36, that would make our variance 36. Thank you very much.